In these last days, we need to understand and make sure that we be careful that we don't be deceived. And I'm especially talking to the ones who are believers and that are in the light in God, of course. That's what I mean when I say light, the real light. You know, Christian Christ follower. It don't matter if you're a chosen one or not. Listen, you chosen when you step into your light in the Lord. I'm especially talking to people of light to be more aware and wise and discerning. Discerning means to look behind the mask, to look what's behind that or whatever. It could be a person, whatever. You just have discernment. And I just feel like people of light it is very, it's that's why in scripture is very pressed upon us to in these last days not be deceived. Because if you think that the great falling away has not happened already, it has. A lot of people have walked away from the faith, and a lot more people will walk away from the faith. But I'm going to touch on a main point on this topic today about people who walk away from the light and the faith and the great falling away, and why when people do that, judgment comes. It comes, and this is why nations was wiped out. This is why things happen to certain people in all places, in all nationalities and races of the world, and why they're just desecrated today and just buried and just have been destroyed, and why evil was allowed to hurt those who were doing things wrong and against God, and how He set them in their natural order and divine path and the natural way of things. But the enemy comes and twists, taint, lie, and deceive. And that's why in these last times, it is very important that we don't be deceived. I mean, if you're watching this person, you're not in the faith, I wouldn't want you to be deceived either. But at the end times, it will come down to a choice. And if you are not sealed or protected with the life, you have not made a decision. How should I paraphrase that scripture that I know that is in the Bible? Let him who is filthy still be filthy. So what's that other one? It will be like how it was in the days of Noah. So in the days of Noah, people were caught off guard, and that's when judgment happened, sudden destruction. And we all know the doors of the ark closed, and God told Noah to not open it because judgment was happening. And so a lot of people are being deceived, and they're becoming um deceiver working minions for the snake. A lot of people have walked away from the faith and have awoken up to who they think that they are. Now, it is very important to have discernment. I press on it a lot. It is. So people of light, people in these last days, really do have to be careful and aware of things and the time we're living in and people. Because the tares and the wheat are mixed in together. And people who are of light and that are in God have to have discernment about certain things and people that come around us. We don't talk energy talk. We're not into new age. We don't, it's discernment, honey. God speaks to us and he'll show us in many different ways and tell us. And it's real and it's true. Oh, it's very true. And these people, these tares, these wicked people, and I ain't talking about the movie The Wicked, but read the signs. These wicked tares are around people who are wheat, who are of real light. These people are in churches. These people are in our family. Okay? You will know them by their fruit. Test them, test the spirit. Now, when the word says test the spirit, I'm not trying to sound like a preacher here, but when the word says test the spirit, is it saying poke the bear and get on their nerves and really bribe them like a cop? No. Testing the spirit is discernment. Okay? When you're a person that is in God and faith and of light and truth, you have discernment, very strong discernment. You really do. And God will speak to you in many ways, in dreams and visions, and tell you about a person. Whether it's audibly, he will use people, he will use anything. In the Bible, a donkey was used. So discernment, I already explained what discernment was, but These terrors and these wicked people and these witch rats and people who come of darkness that's used from the enemy or was sent by the enemy, um, we have to recognize these people. We have to not be deceived and fall into their delusion, deceived mind already. Some of these people are literally walking around with scales on their eyes and already deceived because this arise, which has already risen of new age and people who are getting into the occult, is happening. And this is why the great falling away is going to happen even more so. A lot of people have walked away. I'm still trying to figure out, why does the news care to report on why a lot of black women have left the church and have joined witchcraft? Well, I already told you why a lot of people go into these practices is because they're not getting what they want. Their prayers are not getting answered fast enough. And I've said this in my other videos. Now, Burger King, you're not going to have it your way. Sometimes you will get a no from God, and it just is what it is. You're not going to understand things all the time. Remember, He is the boss over your life. He's leading you. He's guiding you. You just got to keep moving. You have bigger fish to fry. You have other obstacles coming up and things you need to do to prepare in your spiritual walk that you need to focus on besides just getting married. And a lot of people come to church for the wrong reasons. But not to get off topic though. In these last days, we really do need to be careful with people who are in these last days. The spirit of witch rat crap has really risen. Now I want to get into you about these witch rats for a minute, these sorcerers. Because in the last days, I think in the Bible it says they didn't even repent for their sorceries that they did. I'm paraphrasing, but in the end times, people who are evildoers and that have not made a choice or a side will be destroyed. They will. We already listen. They will. The end times, I'm telling you, it's going to be horrible. But I want to talk to you about these deceivers, these people, these witch rats. Judgment came upon anybody who practiced New Age, witchcraft, the occult, Egyptian mysticism, and all that New Age. You are really cursing yourself because people who practiced those things before, judgment has already been declared on them already. I'm not just saying it because they ain't here no more. We all know after the death, the judgment comes. But nations and people have been brought to their knees. I would love to really go into the story of Egypt and how God really brought them to their knees and delivered His people, but that would just be too much. At a point in time, well, I would say this. The spirit of witchcraft is very negative. None of it is good. And when it is working, a lot of fear and confusion and paranoia and people who are not really good in discernment get caught up in this. So I don't know, listen. So when you hear about Salem trials and, the Salem witch trials and, throughout the world at one point and in Europe, Britain, London, England, witches weren't burned and killed and tortured the way they was for no reason. These people made a pact and a deal with evil. They initiate themselves and they live like the termites that they are throughout generations of people who are here today that are their family, that is passed down to them, has never been broken. When people open the door, the witchcraft been going on, but I guess we didn't start hearing about it till that's like old history, like maybe 1500s, and but it's been around. It's just that you have to look up if it's text and documents in certain books to see when it start. And please, by all means, do not follow Hollywood when it comes to stuff. There is a reason. People back in time understood. People in traditional old times understood, and they had common sense, and they knew right from wrong, and they knew good and evil. They understood that. Today we don't know that. We're embracing it. It's famous. It's popular. This is the cool thing. Get into it. And it's evil. It's dark, and it's all about manipulation. It is evil, dark, and manipulation. Anybody who is into witchcraft is literally the child of the devil. They are a snake, which is why God has no mercy on them, and He says He does not suffer them to live. Okay, there's people, when people get into witchcraft, not get into it, when they sell their soul to it, when they initiate themselves into it, they will gain certain powers and abilities, and you can't come out of that easily. These people, If they do, they lose their mind or they just end up dead. A lot of these people that you see that have been that you see a lot of people like that is very out of their mind and mental ill. You have you seen shattered people like that? But somehow they're still like trying to thrive. But you hear their story and they were really a part of the occult. Well, them demons is after them and want to. When you get into the occult, your mind will be shifted. It will be you've gotten to it so deep. You've shaped your mind in a manipulative, lie to deceptive way that you think this stuff is real. And it's just like when a person sells their soul, you're going to be a new you. That's what happens to them. These people can shapeshift, turn into birds, different people. I've seen, listen, witches can turn. I've seen witches who can turn and make themselves look young. Like, I know this sounds like something out of a movie, but witches can literally shapeshift into another person and go back to their original looking self. There is a reason why they tortured witches the way they did and killed them and literally burnt them in front of the stake in front of everybody. They have to prove to themselves, and we need to see if this person is a witch and kill them this way. Because if they're really a witch, like they say they are, because we're about to kill them, let them melt into a liquid while they tied up in these ropes. Let them turn into a bird or a cat and run away. We about to burn them. Let's see if they're gonna vapor away. Witches who are really deep and like really high ranking and really are really into it can literally do those things. So that's why they were really haunted. You hear a witch hunt. That witch hunt term is real for a reason. Witches were literally haunted and killed for a reason. I'm sorry, I'm showing no mercy. I don't care about witch rats. Listen, if you're a witch watching this live, by all means, you're gonna be offended. I'm just saying. Because these witch rats show no mercy. People think that witches are just good root working people and they're healers and they understand your problems and they'll give you insight on things. There are some witches, honey, that will ruin your life, take your place, cause you to have miscarriages, cause you to have mental problems, and dang near kill you. People have been victimized by witchcraft and they're not here anymore. Okay? And this is why the Bible says he don't suffer them to live. They are literally the children of the devil. So these people, we need to watch out for these people and these deceivers. It's always a telltale sign when you see people wearing certain symbols like the Anak crystals, wearing all that stuff on. Stay away from people like that who wear that's into energy work and all them siphoning and the copper stuff. They're vampires. I don't care if they're black or white. Stay away from them. Because they're already deceived into thinking that they are absorbing energy from the sun while charging up that stuff. And they're just deceived. Like, just stay away from, because you don't want your energy to feel sucked. You are embodied spirit. You don't want to feel sucked when you go around them. They've already been deceived. Their mind is tainted. I'm telling you, when people get into the occult, it's like a new them. It's like they become reprobate. What they do, they really believe in you. Is really, you can't even really. It's really spirit of Antichrist. You really can't talk to them because it's like talking to a wall. Like their mind has already been sealed in deceit. Like what's gonna come up on this world one day when you really have to make a choice and you make that wrong choice that you can't come back from. Like people who really do sell their soul. Stay away from people like that because don't convince them. Just and that's why I said, and that's why the word says test the spirit. You testing the spirit can simply just mean, when you start coming around a person or a person coming around you, just listen. You don't still show love and be kind to them, but you always know people but when they start talking and open their mouth. Just listen and just don't say nothing. And however y'all talking conversation, but just listen. Eventually over time, as you keep being around this person, you'll get to know them. Just listen at what they're saying. The closer you get to a person, the longer you be around a person, you get to know other stuff about them. Just listen. Just listen. But for the ones who think that they're clever and they don't say nothing, that's where your discernment come in. Even if you don't know certain things about a person, that's where your discernment come in. And that's where you will be shown and you'll know. And that's when God will tell you, okay, yeah, you need to get away from this person. Because God his eyes is in every place and he know what they do inside their house and in the secret place. His eyes is everywhere. So he's telling you, you can't marry this person. You can't be in a relationship with this person. You don't need to be friends with this. You don't need to be close to this person. Say hi and bye, but you don't need to get close to this person. Now, that's why people with negative energy and stuff are attracted to people with light on them. Cause that's why some of those people who are attracted to people with light on them, it's not a cry for help, but it's like, because Jesus, people with demons in them came to Jesus. They were tormented. Them were like them. What people would say. See, I'm not trying to sound like the New Age people. That person, see, people who are very severely possessed, they are it's like they don't know what's going on. They messed up, but that demon is crying. It's trying to destroy that person. That's why Jesus just said, come out of that. He didn't play, didn't waste no time. He was trying to talk to them like the Pope and them. What's your name? Where you come from? Come out of that man, and that man was free and back in his right mind. We shouldn't be playing with these things. So when people come around you and they have negative energy and and that's why a person that is a Christian and in God and that is of light, saved, filled with the spirit of them, and you really walking in your truth and whole, they and especially if that's your job in the department in the body of Christ to do that. Yeah, casting out that. Listen, guys, when I was coming up in church, I came up in a real church with God's presence and his spirit really up in there. There's no such thing as people of darkness. I went to one of those churches. There's no such thing as people of darkness or that are into witchcraft. They can come in the church. They would come in because, mind you, the church that I was going to, we saw the same people. So everybody knew each other. So we didn't really, everybody, got prayer. We already knew like certain people who was there. We knew them, but there would be newcomers that would come in. Church is like a hospital, literally. There would be new people who come in with their demons on them, with things that they were into and that they were battling spiritually. Well, when people with demons walk into a church building, a temple, or around people who have light on them, they will start manifesting. I've seen this before in church. They will start slithering on the floor like a snake. You would start seeing some things. And that's when the agents of light got to get out their seats. We got to start praying over them, binding that stuff and casting them demons back into the pits of hell where they came from. And then the person wake up in their new mind. Some people throwing up on the floor, screaming. Oh, but it's going to get quiet in a minute because them things about to go because they can't stand the light. And this will happen in the middle of a pastor or a preacher preaching. The enemy, he don't like that. He can't sit under truth because that's what's about to happen when you go to a real church full of light. That's what's about to come down to. The preacher ain't about to waste no time. Just keep on singing and no, we about to get into this word. So they don't like that word, that Bible. There's power in that activates. So that's why we come to learn of this. That's what gives us strength. Them demons don't want to sit around that. So whether it's during the service or after the service and altar call, that's what's about to happen. That's what's about to take place. But when them people come in full of dark, they really can't. They can't even sit until the end of service. They be doing all types of stuff, and then that stuff manifests out of them. And then people who are agents of light, that's when we got to go to work. That's when they got to go to work. So no, if you are really in God or going to a church that are really in God, that stuff is not penetratable. What did the word say? Even the gates of hell shall not prevail against the church. I'm paraphrasing. It won't. It will not. Because people of light literally have fire around them. Guys, I'm telling you. Spiritual eyes, if you have them, yeah, you need discernment. Ask God for them. I've seen people who are into witchcraft with things attached to them like parasites. Did I tell them no? But was I given the eyes to see it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Some of us can see spirits on people. We know what's walking next to you. It don't matter what time, it is nighttime, daytime. Some of us really do have spirits. You really can't deceive some of us. You cannot. And you can. That's when discernment is super heightened. Because anybody can come to you and say, "I'm a child of God. I'm a chosen one." Okay. Well, when I get closer to God, He'll open my eyes, and I see you tomorrow or next week. Or if He tell me something, and I see what's on you, because I something not right. I'm sensing something, but it's not heightened just yet. I'm just getting an uneasy, eerie feeling. But it's really going to be really easy and uneery, and I'm feeling super sensitive when my eyes is open, and I see what has latched itself onto you, sir, ma'am. Because what are you involved in? What have you opened yourself into? What are you doing? And this can be anything. It ain't just got to be witchcraft. It could be anything. A lot of people who are in darkness and sin, they do have things and certain spirits latch onto them, onto them. They really do. And they're not cute. They're not nice. They look ugly. They look terrible. But people today want to believe that this stuff is cute and that when you work with witchcraft, it's from the ancestors. People who are witches and that are mediums, they are deceived. If they sit around a crystal ball in their house and they think they seen their grandma, that's not their grandma. I'm telling you right now, that's not their uncle. That's not their grandma. I don't care how many dead family members is surrounded. That's demons. Literally, that is unclean, deceitful, lying spirits. It's not what you think. It's not what you think. So in these last days, as people of light, we really do need to be careful and discerning and very watchful and mindful and sober and knowing the truth. I would not be surprised if there came a day where witches really come under judgment like they have before. Because witches, I've read some sick stuff. I don't even know why we was taught this stuff in school. I don't even know why is this important? This is why a lot of people say they don't really learn anything in education, when they be going to school and stuff. Because I'm still trying to figure out why they was trying to explain that to us in class. And I'm just like, what is this? Why do we learn about this? But this stuff is real. And so I wasn't gonna be on here too long. But before I leave, there was this guy on TikTok. I run into a lot of these people on TikTok, and these are just regular people like you and I. These are just regular people like you and I, just trying to live and work. They don't want nothing to do with this. These people just want to feed their family. They don't want these. That's what I'm saying. Some people who are just regular, they don't want to deal with this. There's people who are they just live their life. They're just happy. They just living normal. They're not into that stuff. But people who walk in darkness, they might be into you. You could be somebody that might not bother people. You don't bother people. You hear people say this, I don't bother nobody, but they don't care about that. They want what you have. They might envy you. They are jealous of your light, of your personality, of this, of that, whatever. Okay? There's some people that's really not worried about that, but this is why you gotta be protected and spiritually armored and always prayed up in the light. You feel me? Because these are the times we are living in. And I told you these agents of darkness is working overtime. They showing no mercy, which is why people of light should show no mercy. So this guy had a roommate, and it was on TikTok. Have mercy, y'all. This is on TikTok. I don't know his name, but this was like I think 2 months ago or a month ago. Oh, before they closed it. Yeah, before they banned it. This guy was he was roommating with someone. He was someone's. Now this guy that he was roommating with was nice. They understood each other. Like, you do your thing, I do my thing. They was cool with each other. Like, it wasn't really no negotiations of like things that they would, have to talk about because somebody is, they leaving stuff on the floor. No, it was good. They was good. They didn't really have no problems with each other until one day he came home and I guess the guy wasn't there. So while the guy was gone for a while, because he work and he does things and he probably do business and go to school. I don't know what he did, but he finally came home one day and he didn't know that this guy that he was roommates with practiced witchcraft. So he walk in one day and see a table with candles and pictures. Oh my goodness! If these people who are on these pictures on TikTok and they saw their pictures, I would just, if they saw themselves, I would just advise them to just pray. But he came home and he saw candles and black candle wax and just evil stuff with people's pictures on the table. And these were people who had graduation caps on their head and looked very successful. Like these were black women. These were people who looking like how some of these people be taking pictures on social media today, looking very well, look like they're doing real good in their life. And this man said, "What the heck is this? This is some evil demonic stuff. What is this?" He was like, "I gotta go. I can't stay here no more." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And he was just like the energy just in this room it was eerie. He started opening up the refrigerator and finding jars of stuff. And he was just like, what the heck has been going on since I was home? He left. And when he left, the roommate was like, hey man, like what's up? What's going on? Why you leave? He was like, man, look, I love you. We cool. I never really, but I gotta go. I don't agree with that stuff you doing. Like, it's not right. And he was like, and the witch was like, well, yeah. And he showed the text messages and everything. That's why I can tell y'all about this because he literally made a part 1 and 2 to this story. And I wanted to see the rest because I wanted to know what happened, and he's showing receipts. So the witch was like, well, yeah, I would never do that to you, like we cool. Absolutely not. Satan, you are a liar. Um, he's like, well, yeah, I would never do that to you. I like you. We cool. We ain't never had no problems. He's like, yeah, I know, man. You cool too. Like, I always thought you cool dude. You don't bother nobody. But man, that stuff that you do, I just don't agree with. Like, it's not right. So he left. He was like, I wish the best for you. He just left very peacefully. He didn't tear the man down. He was just like, goodbye, God bless, basically. Like, but I'm not, that stuff that you doing, like, I'm not about to be staying, you know, in a place like that. Absolutely. Do please, by all means, do not roommate with a witch because witches, the energy and the evilness that they're working with is death. They're really working, death is literally upon them. Okay, I know this for a fact. When your fruits start dying, anything that is in your house that is living like food, flowers, I'm telling people practice dark arts, that stuff will start to die. You will start smelling bad. If your spiritual spidey senses is on, it will start smelling bad. Your house is haunted, things walking around. You having sleep paralysis floating up your ceiling. You don't want to be in the presence of a witch because when witches really be working, half of the time they are not even themselves and they get possessed. But they will still do this even when they are naturally in their normal self state and lighting black magic candles on people to ruin their lives. That's why I say the stuff, y'all, is real. It's nothing to play with. And this is why you need to have discernment and not go and listen, all of it is witchcraft. The new age, look, it's a different name. It's the same freaking thing. Witches work with evil spirits. They work with demons. Necromancy, talk to the dead. That's not dead people. That's not them dead people. That's not them dead people. So please don't be deceived in these last days by people who wear onyx and certain symbols and they tell you that this will help you and heal you by all means if you take this crystal and say these words and these chants. No, don't do that. You're cursing yourself. This is what people do in witchcraft and the occult and Freemasonry. Do not do that. And it comes in many different forms. You can have on the suit. It's witchcraft. That's what it is. Wolves in sheep clothing, the same thing. Don't believe everybody that tell you they're a Christian, they're a prophet. Because people who are, don't you, listen, anybody can come off light. You know that they're spiritual. If they saying they're a prophet or they're a Christian, you know that they're spiritual. So by all means, make sure your discernment is doubled. And that if they say those things for real, test the spirit. Test the spirit. Don't interrogate them like a cop. But I already explained what I, said when it came to test the spirit. Oh, and God will let you know. Oh yeah, He will definitely let you know. Warning comes before destruction. Absolutely. Oh yeah. So please, God, don't be deceived by these witch rats. They are deceivers. They've been lied to. They're not gonna tell you the truth. There's people in their house doing dark stuff right now. Have opened the keys to the occult and dark knowledge. They ain't gonna tell you. When people do that stuff, they not going around telling everybody what they can do. They just be doing it. But God can tell you what they doing. Oh yeah. Oh yes. He can. I know. He can reveal. Oh my goodness. If I could just pull a testimony out the hat right quick, He will definitely tell you. For sure. Y'all stay prayed up and discerned though. Armored. Don't be afraid, feared. Don't fear by all means. Stay prayed up and in the light. In the word, listen to some gospel music. Let things that are of dark energy and evil get agitated when they come around you. Let them get mad. You need to have that on. That because that it'll let you know when you have that light, that armor light suit on. When they come around you, they giving themselves away. They start throwing up. They start being negative. That's a dead giveaway. That's a dead giveaway. Whether they're into witchcraft or not, it's a dead giveaway. People of darkness really can't be around you. That's why you're not liked. That's why naturally you are not liked. There's a spiritual world, but you're not liked for a reason. especially by negative people. You know why? People with negative personalities, you're not liked for a reason. Not saying everybody don't like you, but some of them, they really don't like you. And you don't know why. You really would. Y'all stay prayed up.